This is a view of Edinburgh Castle. Look at that up there. This castle was built on a volcanic plug millions of years ago. This was a volcano, and the magma in the center solidified and the area around was eroded. So what was left was this volcanic plug, and the castle was built on top. That's amazing. And we have arrived to Edinburgh Castle. All right. At the entrance to the castle are the statues of King Robert the Bruce and William Wallace. These were heroes who fought for Scottish independence. And on the top is the national motto of Scotland, Nemo me impune lacessit, which is Latin for "No one attacks me with impunity." Over the years, Edinburgh Castle has been attacked more than 20 different times, making it one of the most besieged places in Britain. This section of the castle is called the Argyle Tower. This group of cannons is the Argyle Battery.
Over there, the green carpet.
This is a view looking west on Edinburgh from Edinburgh Castle. This is a section of Edinburgh Castle called Hospital Square. It contains the equestrian statue of Field Marshal Sir Douglas Haig. He was a controversial British Army officer during World War I. The hill upon which Edinburgh Castle lies, Castle Hill, has been used as a fortress for 1,000 years, but most of the walls and buildings of the current castle were built between the 14th and 17th centuries. We are in Crown Square, which is the heart of Edinburgh Castle. This building here that you see behind me is the Great Hall. And this other building here is the Royal Palace, where they keep the Scottish crown jewels. And finally, this last building here is the Scottish National War Memorial. This is a version of the Royal Coat of Arms of Scotland. The red lion is the insignia of the Scottish monarchy. The unicorn is the official national animal of Scotland. The words above read "In Defence," which is a shortened version of the Scottish motto, "In my defence, God me defence." This is the Great Hall. It was built in 1511 for King James IV. The hall features an original 16th century hammer beam roof containing 500-year-old oak beams. This was a place where royal banquets, ceremonies of the court, and important state events took place over the years. During the times of Oliver Cromwell, it was turned into a military barrack and later a hospital, but today it has been restored to its former splendor, displaying many historical weapons and armor. Henry Stuart, also called Lord Darnley, in 1565 married Mary, Queen of Scots. They had a son, James, who became King James VI of Scotland. He was an important historical figure who in 1603 unified the crowns of England and Scotland when he inherited the English throne as James I after the death of Queen Elizabeth I. This is the room where Mary, Queen of Scots, gave birth to her son, James VI. They have some mirrors there so you can see. Access is not allowed, but you can see some of the art that is in the walls from the reflections of these mirrors. This group of cannons is the Half Moon Battery. This is St Margaret's Chapel. This is the oldest building in Edinburgh. It dates back to the 12th century. There in the distance is an extinct volcano called Arthur's Seat. Here is a great view of Edinburgh from the castle. And down here, there is a dog cemetery. Look at that. This was for the dogs that were the regiment mascots. The regiments that were stationed here at the castle had their mascots, which were mostly dogs, and they were all buried here over the years. Okay, we're gonna go into St. Margaret's Chapel. St. Margaret's Chapel is a Norman-style private chapel for the royal family. It was built by King David I in honor of his mother, Margaret of Wessex, who was the Queen Consort of Scotland in the second half of the 11th century. She pursued many charitable works and promoted religious reforms, which earned her the moniker of Pearl of Scotland. Margaret was canonized by the Catholic Church in 1250 and is now the patron saint of Scotland. She had 8 children, of which 3 would be kings of Scotland and 1 a queen of England. And what is this? This is the 20-inch wide barrel of a cannon called Mons Meg, named after the Belgian town in which it was made. It was built in 1449 and at a weight of 15,000 pounds and 13 feet in length, it is one of the largest cannons of its type ever built. These are the 340-pound cannonballs used with Mons Meg. This cannon could fire them at a distance of 2 miles, all the way out there. Imagine that. Mons Meg was used in sieges until the mid-16th century, after which it was only fired on ceremonial occasions, such as the first marriage of Mary Queen of Scots. These rooms and passages are part of the castle dungeons, which allegedly are the most haunted area of the castle. Up to this day, many construction workers refuse to work alone in the dungeons, claiming that they are harassed by the ghosts of deceased prisoners. For centuries, the castle has been used as a prison, holding an assortment of prisoners ranging from political figures, rebels, and prisoners of war to individuals accused of witchcraft, pirates, and common criminals. The Edinburgh Castle had some bolts that it used as prisons. And on the doors of these bolts, the prisoners made carvings. One of the American prisoners here made a carving of one of the earliest representations of the Stars and Stripes outside the United States. And here the cannons are pointed out towards the city. You can see another great view of Edinburgh from here. This area here in front of Edinburgh Castle is called the Esplanade. In this area, about 300 to 400 people accused of witchcraft were executed. First by strangling and then by burning the bodies and scattering the ashes. They were never interred. And these were a tenth of all the people accused of witchcraft executed in Scotland over the span of a few centuries. And the only monument to these people is one over there that I'm going to show to you. This is the Witch's Well. It is a cast iron fountain that was made in 1894 to honor the people executed for witchcraft. The fountain is structured around the concept of duality. It features a wicked head and a serene head around which is wrapped a snake. From the mouth of the snake there used to flow water, but now it's dry. There is also a foxglove plant that can be used for healing or hurting people. On the upper left, there is the date where the persecutions of witches began in Scotland, 1479, and the day it ended in 1722. The front of the fountain displays roots beneath the earth and branches above. To the left of the fountain, there is the evil eye, and to the right, the healing hands. A bronze plaque was placed over the fountain in 1912. This plaque further expounds on the concept of duality by claiming that while some of those executed used their exceptional knowledge for evil, others were misunderstood and wished their kind nothing but good. This monument has been criticized because at most it suggests that there are two sides of the story, with some people seemingly deserving the punishment they received while others did not. Today we know that there are no such things as witches. People cannot manipulate the physical laws of nature and bend them to their will. Today we know that all the thousands of individuals that were executed for witchcraft were innocent. And this tiny monument now is the only memorial to the thousands of people that were executed for witchcraft here. Okay, we are here for dinner at the Copper Still restaurant, which advertises fresh cottage food using the best local produce. We're going to be ordering the haggis bonbons, the Vinci olives, the garlic bread, the haggis tower, the steak and ale pie, and the Caesar salad. All right. Okay, here is the haggis tower, the Caesar salad, the garlic bread and olives, the haggis bonbons, and the steak and ale pie. All these look good. And for dessert, we're having something we've never had before. It's called the Cranachan. And it has cream, honey, whiskey, raspberries, toasted oats, and raspberry gel. Let's see how that tastes. And here is the Cranachan. Look at that. That looks good. We are now on our way to see the light show at Edinburgh Castle.
In the beginning, this ancient rock was born of fire and sculpted by ice. It was here ancient settlers built their sanctuary, a fortress that would endure centuries. It has stood against the wrath of winter and the fury of war. Welcome all to Castle of Light.
Here is a view of Edinburgh from Edinburgh Castle at night.
Men went to Gododdin, laughter inciting, bitter in battle with blades set for war. Brief the year they were at peace. In a land carved by ice and ruled by fire, where the wind howled like wolves across the northern hills, a legend was written not in ink, but in blood. In an age of warriors and kings, when the land trembled beneath the feet of marching men, a fire was lit in the north, and it would burn into legend. The Gododdin were men of the north, warriors forged in frost and fury. For a year they gathered here in a hall of stone, where the mead flowed like molten gold and the fire of war burned in their eyes. "300 brave souls, each one aflame, fierce and bright. They rode south through the snow into the heart of darkness to face an army 1,000 strong. The ground was hard with ice, but their hearts burned hotter than the hearth. They did not flinch, they did not yield, and at Catraeth they were consumed. The cold steel of the enemy met the fire of their charge. One by one they fell, not as victims, but as warriors, like sparks dying in a storm. Only one returned to tell the tale. Now their names echo in the ancient verses, in the clash of sword and shield, in the silence after battle. Their fire lives on, in verse, in memory, in the roar of battle long after the last sword fell. Their tale is told in Gododdin, one of the oldest surviving Welsh poems, an heroic tale celebrating brave warriors who rode to battle against impossible odds. Written over 1,300 years ago, it's a snapshot of ancient Celtic courage and pride. Tonight, its spirit shines again. 300 gold-torqued men attacked, guarding their land. Bloody was the slaughter. Although they were slain, they slew. And until the end of the world, they will be honored. And of all of us kinsmen who went together, sad, but for one man, none escaped.
Anawdd gynhorfan, hian ar wyran, wledig cwth gyngrau nef yn ysbrydau.
Long have I ruled the frost, the silent glens, the glassy lochs, the whisper of snow upon the heather hills. But here in Scotland, even I must share my reign with fire. They say my chill shapes their very winters, yet their hearts burn bright in defiance. From up Helliah in Shetland, their proud Vikings, reborn, march with blazing torches through the cold night. To Hogmanay, where the year turns amid fireballs and first footers, summoning flame to dance with frost. It is an ancient balance, fire to cleanse, ice preserve. At belting, they leap the flames for luck and love. It is the spring's festival, but I still linger in the dew, watching, waiting, as they welcome the warmth. In their stories and songs, fire and ice are never foes. They are the very heartbeat of the land itself, the winter storm and the hearth's welcoming glow. the cold loss, and the whiskey's golden spirit bound. And so, I remain, not to conquer, but to dance. Flame and frost together in this wild, eternal Scotland.
They have stood against the wrath of winter and the fury of war.
That was the light show at the Castle of Edinburgh. I hope you found it interesting. And please remember to like and subscribe. And as usual, see you in my next video down the road.